for a win.
Yeah, I know. We've been talking a lot about Luminosity. It's just because it's so surprising to not be seeing these guys, winning games, and they have a ton to work on. I know individually, I know we always talk about them being so talented and being really good, but I actually think John, Slack, Classic, all three of them need to improve in this game, like individually right now. I don't think any of them are where they used to be in previous titles, and I think it's something, look, John even said right here, unacceptable performance out of me first and third map, really unacceptable. I'm sorry, but I won't let that happen again. Like, that is a guy you need to be going off for you. You need him to be playing well as one of your Sogs. Sog's one of the most important roles in this game. They need to be throwing shoulders, they need to be playing their life, and they need to have good communication because they're always going to be in the mix. And if you're not doing those things, it's going to be tough for your team. So he has the weight of the world on his shoulders for this roster, but he's got to step it up.
They just look a little bit lost in the map currently, LG. They need just to work tighter setups and work together. There's no way that John just forgot how to shoot. It's just impossible. He's one of the most talented COD players ever. So they just need to work on that teamwork, work together, bait and switch properly so they can play and win these maps.
And take a look at this formal tweet. So frustrating. We got to figure something out because this is pathetic.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is, right? Like, you got a really good team. You got to put it together. And Formal has been, shooting really straight, picking up a lot of kills. You just got to put it together as a team. And it's something that I expect them to go back with Ricky, their coach, and figure out. But maybe there's a lot of VOD out now. Go watch Midnight and just see what they're doing. You're not telling me that John and Slack can't do what Jet Li and Envoy are doing. Like, they can definitely do that. Just emulate it, copy it. Take your time. You don't need to be the superstar on the map. They need to learn that. I think that they will at some point.
Well, Pac, and what about Red Reserve, though?
Well, Red Reserve, they haven't beaten any American pro teams yet. So they still have something to prove. Like, the only team they beat was Reciprocity, the only league team they beat so far. So I'm really looking for them to come out and prove that they're one of those top teams. Raiders not happy with me. Yeah, Raiders not happy with me. They had a really close match with Midnight. So we do know that they have the potential to be one of the top teams. They just have to come and be consistent. They need more out of. I feel like they need more out of like Zero and Bans. Like we've seen Scraps put up those huge performances. In Game 5 he struggled a little bit yesterday, but other than that, he's been a superstar player. They just need to balance their slaying for sure.
Well, and we were so excited when we finally did get to make it official, but we want to talk a bit about London. That is coming up May 3 to 5. You can see it on your screen that you can get. Team passes are available. We talked about it yesterday. It's going to be a great, great time, and we very much so hope that all of you can come and join us.
Yep, I'm the king of the copper box.
No, you're not.
me and Joe DeLuca, he's here. And Formal, the guy on stage, and J-Cap somewhere at home, Santa Monica, watching this. But yeah, we're the kings of the copper box, so until this event, I still have the crown there.
You can't even defend your crown.
I can't even defend.
Formal can, though.
Formal can. Hey, Matt, can you hear me? You got to pick it up because I don't see them winning an event anytime soon, but maybe by May 3rd. I can't wait for that event. It's going to be spectacular.
So you may have noticed that we moved the button away from Nameless. Don't you touch it either, Study. You gotta stay tuned because we still can't tell you what exactly it's for, but I can give you another hint that it has to do with an upcoming CWL event, which will be very, very exciting. No touching.
Yeah, I know. They moved it literally to the opposite side. I just wanted Dashy to play, man, but whatever, they won anyway. So.
I know, he's being greedy, but you have to be patient because at the end of the day, before our last match, we will press that wonderful golden button. But as you just saw, Optic 3-1 Reciprocity to end their week in Division A, 3-1. Very exciting for them. Midnight 4-0. Coming up, Red Reserve and Luminosity.
gentlemen, welcome back to the Call of Duty World League. Up next on the main stage, it's Luminosity versus Red Reserve, and what I personally believe could be the closest game of the day, and an important one as well for the standings as they currently sit. Both these two teams haven't exactly started off very, very strong. Let's just say that, Chance.
That's the nice way to say it.
Yeah,
I
was trying to be polite.
And it's kind of like, so these are like two middle-of-the-pack teams right now, right? I mean, Luminosity maybe not so much because they're towards the bottom, but you'd imagine in the 8 teams we have, they fall somewhere between that 3-6, 3-7 margin. So this is a series that gives you the nice little bump potentially over the edge. And you're not going to feel good about this week no matter which team you are. But going into next week, it can be a confidence builder.
Agreed. And it is worth mentioning that we have actually seen this series already at LAN once. That was way, way, way back in Vegas, of course. LG went on to win there, and they also went on to a top 4 finish. Since then, though, the big question that I've been asking is, has Red Reserve improved? Well, we looked at the stats in terms of their respawn and the big improvement from Vegas to the PLQ, so your answer is yes. For LG, have they improved? Well, maybe not. It could actually be the opposite. It looks as if something isn't clicking. What it is, I don't think we know just yet.
Well, so Luminosity went from like a horrible 2-7 control record. Now they're 1-1. I mean, like, technically that's better, right? Like 50-50, but it's tough to say. And this is an interesting series because the first 3 maps are actually a perfect run back. And what happened the first time is LG won the first hard point. They won the S&D 6-5.
Okay.
And if you remember the talking points earlier in the week for Red Reserve, their whole thing was, we keep losing game 2 S&D, and it's costing us series. 3 times now for Red Reserve. It's happened against Gen G, where they win the first hard point, then they lose the search, and it spirals out of control. So that was the crux for them the first time they played. Then you move into control, though, and then the question, instead of Red Reserve's map 2 S&D, it becomes LG's control, because they lost that against Red Reserve before finally closing out the series. So 2 big questions. Can Red Reserve get that map 2 win? And then, of course, can LG get that map 3?
Oh, a lot of pressure on game number 1, then, that's for sure. Give yourself that massive, massive edge, but it's a big game for both these two teams as they look to try and do maybe a bit of damage mitigation, I guess, damage limitation, if nothing else. If you're LG, I feel like you can't afford to lose this game here. I mean, not in terms of, oh, you're not going to finish top 4, none of that, but just for the more mental aspect of things. You come in, you say, oh, we just finished top 4 at Vegas. We obviously didn't play at the PLQ. Now we're finally playing against good competition, and this should be our chance to get our first win under the board. But it is worth mentioning. This is important. For Red Reserve, you've brought this up a couple of times, Chance, and I love the point. They haven't beaten any North American teams in the Pro League throughout Vegas, throughout the PLQ. The only teams they beat that were in the Pro League have been European.
Well, the good news for them is there's some players on Luminosity that are underperforming, to say the least. Slack so far in Respawn,
It's a polite way of saying it,
hasn't gone positive a single time. And like even on the analyst stats, it's not even just solely on him that they're focusing on. John has been wildly inconsistent. Classic has been a little bit more inconsistent than maybe you'd like, but really all eyes for me on Slack, and then you gotta keep an eye on John as well. It's really those two, because on the flip side, Gunless has been maybe not doing Gunless things, but it's still been very good, and then Formal also has been very, very good. So
Formal's been, I would say, very, very good. I think you've seen a big improvement from him.
Absolutely.
From maybe the last time we saw the LG squad play, but even with him doing, quote, formal things, it hasn't been enough for LG to get that first win.
It really just has been a battle, like an internal battle of the Sogs right now for LG. And again, just something to keep in mind, because I know the community has been paying a lot of attention to. March 1st, once that roster date comes around, there is a ton of talent. Not only ton of talent turning 18, but that's just straight up not in the Pro League. Like, I don't know,
that's
Zuma. Like again, there's guys all over the place that are going to be fiending for a spot potentially. So there's a lot of pressure, not just for the teams, but for individual players. Off the rip on Hacienda, you're just going to see ICRs all over the place. And it looks like Red Reserve, they get the early kill advantage, but nobody's in the hill.
Yeah, not have to worry about it just yet. Try and slay out those top corridors. Get yourself some map control, and for Red Reserve at least, fighting off the unfavorable side off the rip. Try and get control of those spawns. Early time in favor of Red, but still 30 seconds left with P1.
Again, if you're looking for those Sogs to kind of step it up, Slacked, I mean, I know it's super early, but it is him and John that each have 2 kills apiece. And even Classic, the other guy we brought up, got those 2 kills early on to try to bounce back. And of course, while John's inside the hill, he's got to worry about a 360-degree getting shot from everywhere. Very difficult to stay alive inside the first hill. Both teams coming out barely even. Zero, though, making the sneaky play. That whole kill feed Red, but LG do still have the good spawns.
And that was super smart from Zero, because he played his life very, very well. Delayed his jump up, caught Formal, completely unexpected to push, and because of that, they have hill control. Still working on spawns, though. A couple of players trying to push up. Formal now fighting from the unfavorable side, and he's going to run into Rated. That's a double for Formal. Heal up, but just 3 health. There it is, eventually. And now can try and challenge the hill.
And of course, this is a situation where it's not the best to have the ICR. Maddox is a little bit more comfortable in those situations, and I know people have been wanting it because Formal finds himself in those aggressive situations, but you want aggression, you want Joe 5 points away before he starts earning streaks.
Oh, don't even
and
challenge.
frankly, he's just going to get him.
Yep, I was going to say, you don't even need to challenge the hill at that point. Just play your life and get the free points for being in the hill. And Joe fully streaked out. A great start for Red Reserve. 43-15, the current score. 15 seconds left of Garage Hill, and well, if you're Red Reserve, you can chalk that one up and start worrying about fences as the rotation comes through. Joe's going to invest the drone squad here, and that could help Red Reserve give themselves a quite sizable lead after the 3rd hill.
And I'm cool with that. Like, you got the Hellstorm and the Lightning. You only want to use those if this hill goes terribly wrong for you, if you need to break on through. So if you can just use the drone squad here, you can afford to just, force this hill as much as possible. Go for that scrap time as much as you want, because to break the next hill, you got the Hellstorm, you got the Lightning. So be as aggressive as you want. I think the drone squad has already picked up 2 kills for him, and he's doing some with the gun himself, and right now, just an easy hold for Red Reserve.
I mean, Joe's 10-4. Life's going to be very easy in the Red Reserve camp when Joe's getting streaks and he's playing as well as he has been so far. But of course, it's still early in the game. As Moser pulled out by Rated, he finds another pick. Halfway still contested. LG at this point probably not going to push this hill again. I'm going to have to get ready on the 4th hardpoint for that push to come through. But another big worry here is Rated. He's going to be close to some streaks as well. He's 140 right now. Wait for the score boost to come through. And I mean, if he gets streaks as well, Chance, I don't want to say game 1 could be over, but LG are going to have to play extremely well to come back into this.
I mean, we've seen enough 100-point comebacks that I think we both know it is never over until it's actually over. But Hellstorm invested, and that at least gives them the information to get the kills with their guns. And again, they got that fences. They put the pressure on later into the hill. That means they can use the streaks for this one, which you use some streaks. Now you're earning more. You can just let this game spiral out of control. By the way, Scraps at some point got a lightning strike as well. Don't even know when it happened, but that makes things good, and we are creeping up on a 100-point lead.
Rated also earns his streak. He was a little unfortunate. Hardpoint was contested. I think he had or he assumed at least a teammate was watching the cross, and just a unfortunate timing as he looked away. No more streaks earned, but after almost the entire first rotation, LG sat on just 40 points. The final 15 here, big for them. Just to try and chip away at the Red Reserve lead, but Red definitely looking good. Gunless opens things up here with a double as we go over towards our 2nd rotation of hills.
And Gunless is definitely going to need to heat up towards this 2nd set of rotations, and as you can see, might be working on exactly that on a 4 spree, 260 away from some streaks of his own, which is nice, but again, you're still dealing with streaks on the other side of the board as well, so even if he gets them, it's basically just a wash. Granted, though, they do have full control of this hill for the moment, but they actually never just covered that right hallway. Formal's out by rock, which is kind of nice unless you want to be inside the hills. Red Reserve just storm right back on through, take full control, and honestly, they're going to be good for possibly another 10-15 seconds, if not more, on the center hill.
Scraps, though, making the heads-up play. You see him get behind enemy lines. We've got to find a couple of free kills, if nothing else, whilst also trying to control the spawns. There's 2, looking for 3, gets the call out, gets 3. Scraps taking control of the game, and look at the effect that has on the minimap. Number 9, number 7, that's Bance and Rated, now both spawning in for P2. That's such a big play from Scraps to be able to not only find the kills, also control the spawns, while now going for the War Machine. Can he go one step further? Finds the kill, unfortunately traded out, but the early time here of Garage Hill, as long as Rated is able to win some gunfights with the help of Zero, goes to Red Reserve.
I mean, pressure's on the back right now. Scraps got the entire team to deal with. He does take one with him. And now Rated, though, he's going to make the play with the Annihilator. There's 1, there's 2. Formal cleans him up for number 3. LG do secure the back spawns, but Red Reserve just hanging out inside the hill. They're going to have to deal with Zero. And actually, the Lightning Strike might come into effect as well, just to clear out the back. That forces the players inside, which how are you going to deal with Zero that has the Sog in this spot?
And you also have a Tempest that's been invested as well from Bance. Zero flies through, he finds 1. Bance still in the hill, trying to snap with the Tempest. 25 seconds left. Now, bear in mind, the Lightning Strike may not have actually got any kills, but what it did do is secure Red Reserve a ton of time. Almost a full 60 here on the Garage Hill as Bance connects with another Tempest shot. John will fall. Red Reserve, I mean, they're making LG look kind of amateurish.
And then guess who has the lightning strike to even go and break this next hill should things not go well. And you see LG picks up 2 kills, which means, yeah, almost certainly you're going to see that lightning strike get invested once players get in position. You got Scraps on the top side, essentially working on the flank, the other 4 towards the bottom. It's going to force everybody in 10 up into plat, and that's exactly what they have covered. 0 to get the guys that go in at 10, uses the gravity slam. That is almost as perfect as it gets. Unfortunately, 0 does die to the lightning strike, but hey, you get full control. Scraps played his life. He just burned 3 shots out of gunless, if not more. He only has 1 left in the pocket, and his entire team is dying. Doesn't even get the kill with the War Machine because of Flak Jacket. Finally comes inside and does pick up 2. And those are the types of kills that Gunless is going to need to get if they want any hope of getting back in this game.
I'll tell you what, Gunless is going to need to get the next 3 as well, just to have a potential chance, because he's close to streaks. 195 away. Bance is trapped in a corner. Gunless needs to try and find the kill. Does get it. 55 points is all that is needed for him. He's going to pick up that scrap time, and then you have to focus on that rotation. But, I mean, yes, streaks will help. You still are 100 points down almost to a Red Reserve who look fantastic today.
And of course, Specialist on the other side. Classic does have his. Slack is working with the gravity slam. Gunless does get the lightning strike. If you want to start a 100-point comeback, it starts here. Lightning strike forces everybody inside, out to the water, all the way around. 5 points away, and he's going to get that sniper's nest. Touch the hill. Boom, you got it. Question is, when you call it in, you might want to do it sooner rather than later, but if you keep killing like that, there might not be a need.
Oh, Gunless is simply doing it all. An 11 streak before he's finally shut down by 0. Wasn't enough, though. Yes, he earns 2 other streaks. He's going to instantly call in the sniper nest. Now, honestly, the sniper's nest really shouldn't be much other than an inconvenience for Red Reserve. They're going to have to change their class and shoot that down from the sky, but you still have that Hellstorm missile. Now as well, you have Slacked with a grab slam at play. LG are going to have to play flawless hardpoint at this point.
And again, the gravity slam, you have to get a good use out of it. Even if you want to go all the way over and save it towards Lambo, should you survive this middle hill, you're going to need to pick up a couple. Bance does take down that sniper's nest, no longer in play. It's what, about an 80-point, 90-point differential, so Luminosity has a mountain to climb. And again, it comes down from middle to Lambo. They got to be perfect.
And the key is they need to watch their angles, right? Last time, if you remember, in rotation number 2, it was Scraps that went all the way through fences, controlled the spawns. He got 3 kills.
Free is flanking all time.
Absolutely. This time, LG need to be so careful of that, because a full 60 at Lambo, all of a sudden, with a Hellstorm and maybe some specialists used correctly, they could be right back in this game.
It's feasible. They have the good spawns. They have the heal control. They have now gotten past the point. Red Reserve can no longer win on this middle hill, so you obviously don't want to give away a ton of time, but you can if you need to, just to secure Lambo. They still have players in the back. Red Reserve, no one's going over to flank. The dominoes are slowly starting to fall into place to at least make the potential there.
10 seconds. All Red Reserve will need to close this one out. LG find themselves 100 points down as we rotate over towards Lambo. Like we said, it will need to be damn near flawless play in Red Reserve. They have other ideas. 3 kills come through. Slack, grab slam time. He got a kill with it.
He did.
Yeah.
And now the game is probably over. Gunless kills 2, including a teammate. Red Reserve sit inside. You gotta go big with the specialist. That doesn't happen in Red Reserve with a fierce game number 1.
Good game 1 from Red. They held an advantage relatively early on and never really let go of it. And a big performance from Joe early to earn streaks. You mentioned Scraps. He got a lightning strike out of nowhere. Rated gets a streak as well. So much extra utility from Red, and they use it correctly. Because of that, they take map number 1.
Okay, and so we brought up like Slack's yet to go positive in a single respawn so far. John inconsistent. Classic, not as much as the other 2, but a little bit inconsistent as well. And obviously the same kind of thing happens there. Your Sogs just for LG not doing much, but I think much more importantly, we watch Scraps go on a flank that everyone tries. No one for LG pays any attention to it. So not only are you losing the middle hill, you give up spawns to Lambo, and he picks up 3.
Yeah,
like
3.
No one trades, no one aware. Like it was as bad as it could possibly be. And those are the kind of plays that I think are shooting LG in the foot much more than inconsistent Sog play.
Sure, it definitely seems that way. I mean, they give away a ton of time from that as well. Full 60 on Lambo, and the game spirals out of control. But advantage Red Reserve in this series, 1-0 up after the hardpoint win. And I believe Jess caught up with some of the players before the game.
Thanks, Ben. Yeah, I spoke with Zero first, and when I asked how he's feeling about this match versus Luminosity, he said, well, we feel fantastic. Everyone knows LG are in a bad spot. He did admit, well, we do have to watch out for our S&D. We're pretty confident on our respawn, but S&D is going to be kind of a strong point where we really got to, make sure to clutch up. And he also said, well, this is a big match for us. We're feeling good, but we don't want to end the week 1-3. We'd rather, end it 2-2. Now, over on the side of Luminosity, I did catch up with Gunless, and, they've been having their struggles, but he said that since their previous matches, they did make some adjustments, and says that they've been getting back to their roots as far as specialists go. And he said, well, both of us teams, Red Reserve and us, neither of us is at our full potential right now. So, well, let's see how the rest of the series goes. Ben and Chance, back over to you.
Thank you very much, Jess. One thing's for sure, Gunless, as an individual at least, had a pretty good performance, more like the Gunless of old in terms of, maybe not statistically, but you saw when his team needed him, he was picking up those double kills, he was changing the game, earning streaks. Admittedly, maybe a little late for if you're an LG fan, but still more Gunless-like.
I was going to say, slow start, but then he goes on 11 spree, and the funniest part about that entire thing was 11 spree, fully streaked out, destroying them, calling in streaks to break through the hill. As soon as he dies, that kill feed, Red Reserve right
all
back
red.
in the hill.
All red.
All back in, and it's like, oh my God. And then I think even Formal picked up 2 immediately after that, and there was 3 kills for LG in their favor, and then they still just couldn't break through. It seemed like LG in a nutshell.
Yeah.
And as well as that gravity slam at the end.
Yeah, you should probably be aware that the car might blow up.
It does that
and kill you, yeah.
So something Karma did, by the way, in the match we saw, he grappled to like a corner of the room, so gravity slam, car blows up, but he's far enough away, doesn't kill himself. Next level, that
Wow.
man.
Take notes, ladies and gentlemen, take notes. Not suiciding on the car. A positive thing.
I mean, it's unfortunate. Like, it does happen, but that's a situation where, like,
I mean,
that's
saved
the
it too.
play. That is the play at the end of the game.
Yep.
You got to be just a little bit better.
Even if you do make that play, you still have a big comeback to make. But it's the start, right? It's a catalyst for that play for sure. As game number 2. We get ready to load on in. And bear in mind, Chance brought up the great point that this is a rerun of the first 3 maps that we saw when these 2 teams already played. They played in Vegas. LG took the series 3-1. LG won map 1 and map 2. The key conversation that we had at the very beginning is, has LG got worse since Vegas? Has Red Reserve improved? Well, we know Red's improved in respawn. Search, that's been their issue. It has been all year, every series they've played. That's really been their Achilles heel, if you will. For LG, if they drop this search and destroy, Chance they could be in some real trouble of another 3-0.
I mean, yeah, and again, it went to round 11 last time for the S&D, and the thing I'm kind of thinking about while looking at these players is, do they tilt off the face of the earth? Because like they were obviously not happy with their performances in the past 2 days.
Sure.
You've got guys like John tweeting out, like, performances like this I cannot have. Like, I'm too good of a player individually. You've had people like Forma that are just like, this is pathetic as a team. Like, I don't know what's going on. And you got Gunless grinding in the venue for hours because he's just like laser focused of like, this is not bad, I need to be better. Or this is not good, excuse me,
yeah.
I need to be better. So he just lives and breathes COD to go on 11 sprees and get fully streaked out and not make a difference.
Yeah, it's rough, man. It's very rough, this LG squad, especially since really the formation of the squad, people looked at it and said, yep, this is a MVP roster right here. This is a roster which is going to be challenging for championships. And admittedly, yes, it's only week 1 of the Pro League, but you would have loved to have seen a big improvement, right, from what you saw at Vegas, not seeing them at PLQ, having all that time to be able to watch them and say, yep, there we go, this is what we're excited to watch. Whereas in reality, the situation is it's more confusion, I feel, from a lot of different reasons. But we'll touch on that maybe a little bit later on. Hacienda Search and Destroy underway. First Blood Joe, Second Blood Zero. Already advantage Red Reserve.
Third Blood, pick your favorite Red Reserve player. Classic's going to fall this time to Rated. John going on the flank behind, 1 free kill there. And then instantly traded all of a sudden, Formal by himself, 1v3. And he's getting flanked, if not killed. And I think Rated picked up 3, 4, 7 kills that round. Killed his teammate.
Zero was just caught in the crossfire, is what it is. But a very convincing round number 1. And something that I know we noted earlier on in the week, but Rated in terms of his shot calling, very, very impressive. In terms of a leader as well, always calling out, hey guys, War Machine on the other team, Flak Jacket. All the small little things Rated definitely on track of. So, you know, from a leadership mentality when it comes to Search, he puts a lot of pressure on his own shoulders.
Got the streaks in the hard point as well. Like, it's tough for ICRs in this game to show up and kind of not have a massive impact, because they always have an impact, but make like a noticeable impact. It's tough to put up good stats. It's tough to put up huge damage numbers. The ICR is a catered role But in S&D, you have a little bit more time to shine.
I think we all saw Rated's opinion on the ICR.
Yes.
Follow him on Twitter. But moving on, 2v3 already, advantage LG. You blinking, a flurry of kills already go down as Rated now has to just back away. 420 away from streaks as well. Do bear that in mind. Could have an effect on how the rest of this round is played out. Honestly, you could just get the bomb down. Zero's caused a distraction. So 1v2, and he will get bombed down. This is doable. Tough, but doable.
It is a bit of an issue that he has an ICR, though. That honestly is a bit of a problem maker. You want to take your longer-range gunfights, but of course, if one guy hops on bomb, where do you come through? Connector. Like, almost all the gunfights you can take to check this bomb are
has a stun.
a close angle.
Has a stun. This could help. Connects, tac mask. Both LG players running at him. His counter stun comes through. Rated, unfortunately. And that is exactly your point, right? When you have the ICR, it can be tough to win those close quarter gunfights.
I mean, getting stunned also.
Yeah, it doesn't help.
It's a multitude. I mean, realistically, where do you even check bomb from with the ICR? Like, I'm not saying it's a bad play. It's his only play. It's just a difficult spot to be in, and that's a pretty good round from LG. I don't know if they got the first blood exactly, but all the trades came in the first 4-5 seconds. As soon as the first one came, they had the man advantage. Zero was able to pick up one kill, but the guy sliding across was purely bait. It's a solid round from LG.
I had visions of Rated jumping outside the map over the fence and flanking both LG players, shooting them both in the back. A little bit of a ring around the rosy, but not the case. LG win the round, tie things up. One apiece, gunless now, relatively close to some streaks. Still 450 to go, but something to keep our eyes on.
Rated pulling out the thermal sight as well.
Crocodiling. I love it.
Doing what he can, but they are just non-existent. Looks like they are going to go for this plant because they've seen nothing over here. Rated has a tiny bit of information, but that's as tough as a kill as you'll find. Red Reserve, by the way, all over this map. So they have the opportunity for the retake. Zero already picks up one on the flank. Now LG, they got to be worried about the flank. They only know one's here. Vance is here too, so they weren't expecting to be here that fast. Then Zero comes in the side, the double flank perfect. They are getting reflanked, and he does turn forward in time. Formal picks up one, going for the trade. Formal gets two, but a 1v2. Formal, you got to sprint, you got to get to the bomb, and he knows it's over, and he's just going to run. And that is a round off the back of Zero and Vance making moves on the flank.
Yep, it looked for a moment as if the flank of the flank may have been enough for LG, but it wasn't. Rated hops on the bomb instantly. Red Reserve take the round 2-1, the advantage. And again, to reiterate, when we saw this at Vegas, all the way to around 11, LG clutch up. Red Reserve looking for some sweet revenge and victory for the first time this year over a North American Pro League team.
That really was perfect how they made that work out as well. It's literally Zero picks up the kill in that lobby, and John goes, oh, he's going to come up this door in the next 2 seconds. You just don't expect Vance to be back Lambo. Like, the timing just completely throws you off. So, very solid plays. Red Reserve back on offense. Leaning towards this B site. Only 3 of them here, and Gunless is riding solo. And it does get information.
And bear in mind, Rated is doing the same thing he just did on the defensive round. Same class. ICR, thermal. I have that cold-blooded on as well, so he's going to be locking down the water side of the map completely. Joe finds himself a little bit of a skirmish, but wisely backs away. Doesn't want to give away a pointless first blood. And for LG, are they going to check the right side of the map? Joe finally should be dead, or maybe not. Somehow escapes with his life once again. And there's 4 LG players now being drawn to the A site.
You had 3 players scared to go kill Joe because they're expecting reinforcements. But on the flip side, Gunless does actually find a kill. Slacked is going to fall. Now kills getting traded all over the place. Rated does pick up 2, gets traded. 3v3. That bomb never did get planted. And now Joe, again, for like the 3rd time, might be able to flank this map. He's going to have a gunfight in the hallways and just trying to back people down, just trying to keep this mid-control.
It's funny, you hear the saying, Joe's a nuisance all the time. Well, this is exactly why. Now a 2v2. Flank comes through from Classic. Joe is able to trade. Now a 1v1. Joe gets out with his life. 29 seconds left. If you're John, you need the kill and the defuse. Joe positions himself on the bomb. Again, the fight comes through. Now it's John's turn to have positioning in the fight. Joe just needs to bleed a little bit of time. 18 seconds left. Does John try and bait out the defuse? 15 seconds goes for the push. Joe's still alive. The man just simply doesn't die. And he finds the kill. That was a sublime round from him. Oh, I'd laugh too.
Oh, they're cackling up there. That is tough to watch for LG fans because, I mean, what do? Do you hop the bomb and try to force him to come to you, but then you go and peek him and he shoulder peek, 30 shoulder peeks later, you push him, and then It looks like you have the advantage in the gunfight. He gives the old boop. That's like 3 or 4 kills for Joe that round.
That whole round was impressive. He should have been first blooded.
3 different times.
Then goes back to fences. Three LG players
again.
shooting at him. Escapes mid-map. Then gets into another fight. Lives. Gets a kill. Shoots Formal. Shoots Classic. A wonderful round from him. And gets the final kill on John. Just the cherry on top of the cake there. Now, Joe, can he find anything else in the start of this round? Again, still alive. Slides out. There's one. There's 2. Joe is on a rampage as it's a 4 versus 1. Advantage Red Reserve. Joe 150 off streaks. They're going to try and feed it to Red Reserve. That death means absolutely nothing. Straps trying to feed Joe that final kill for the streaks. Wonderful stuff from Red.
And in the hard point, the first player that really kicked it up a notch and went on a huge, massive tear, it was Joe.
Yep.
Man has not slowed down a single bit, and these are the plays that, like, Merc and Maven were talking about it yesterday watching Crota on Hacienda. They are stressful. Dodging in and out, because, like, there was times he's trying to, like, heal. Doesn't even have the stim shot because he just did it 2 seconds ago. Now he's sliding out, picking up kills left and right. People are looking everywhere. That is just pure chaos, and Joe apparently thrives in that.
I was going to say, in that image, of course, Bance is carrying Joe. It should be the other way around in this series, at least. The 6-2. Is that an 8-2? Sorry, 8-2 start as he uses Crash, has some streaks as well. Oh, Bance 0-4. Doesn't matter. Don't even stress a little bit about it, Bance. You're good. Why? Because Joe is popping off the series.
They didn't get anything with it, though, so he can move to plant this bomb, and he will be able to get the drone squad on top of it.
Did you call it in this round?
Yeah, honestly, you could sit connect or call it in, and you could just hang out. No reason not to, and that's what he's going to do, sit right next to it, but he can't afford to die necessarily, and Gunless slides out, drops some kills, get traded, though, 2v2, all of a sudden, John by yourself, because the drone squad got a kill. John, making things interesting, but how do you fight a machine? How many times do you have to snipe the drone squad before it falls?
We saw this at the PLQ. A drone squad clutching a 1v, technically 0, I guess. 20 seconds left, John left by himself. Even when Joe's dead, he has an impact on the map. The man really playing just that well. 13 seconds, and if you're Bance, you found your first kill this round, get a comfortable second. Why not? There's another one for free. 5-1 Red Reserve. They are just steamrolling through LG, and you asked a very important question, Chance, after game 1. What is the reaction going to be from LG? Will they be able to take that loss and bounce back, look confident once again? Well, I think the answer to that is definitely no.
I would have been much more entertained by that entire sequence if he does kill Bance immediately after and then has like 25 seconds to fight a drone squad.
Just trying to snipe.
Just watch him sniper versus drone squad. Like, nothing he can do in that situation. I mean, he goes to snipe as well at the start of the round, and the reason he couldn't get any picks is because got forced in by the Hellstorm. The only reason Joe got the Hellstorm is because he popped the TAC 5, got an extra couple points to get the streaks out. It's just, like, honestly, that round is genuinely just unfortunate for LG.
Well, Joe's still with 1 streak to play with. For LG, they find themselves 5-1 down. There was a fair amount of 5 versus 1 comebacks at the PLQ, but something suggests this one, it's not going to be the same. 4 versus 2 already, 60 seconds on the clock. John sniping, misses the first shot, forced to back away. The reach out comes through, but has the Mozu in his back, has the Crash. Does he want to invest it? Well, it's now a 1 versus 3. It's do or die. You may as well. He has to. No other choice. Needs to try and clutch up, but Rated flies at him with an Annihilator, and Rated isn't going to miss those shots. 2-0 Red Reserve.
Well, Ben, this is a run back of a series at Vegas where the first 2 maps at Vegas, LG won both of them. Now it is the opposite, and we move into a gridlock. The last time these 2 teams played, Red Reserve beat them 3-1.
We shall see. We shall see what the outcome will be this time, but one thing's for sure. LG down heavily in this series. You look at the control. It's been the 1-game mode. To your point, Chance, Red Reserve really have controlled very, very well. You saw them yesterday with a fantastic performance, but can they do it here? Get a 3-0 shutout against LG in their final game of Week 1.
The Call of Duty World League is brought to you by Mountain Dew Amp Game Fuel, the official beverage of the CWL. Scuff Gaming, the official controller of the CWL. And TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand.
Hey everyone, Pac-Man here with your play breakdown presented by TCL. Here we are with Luminosity Gaming and UIU, round 7 of this Search and Destroy. Luminosity is on defense and they decide to take over the middle portion of the map. Why do they do this? Because they have Crash and because Gunless has a lightning strike. So they take over the middle portion of the map and they can win any gunfight across the middle because they have extra health, and they can decide to go to A or B depending on the information they get from UIU. Boom, through the middle B connector, and there's A connector down here. So they find out what UIU is going to do on the map and react accordingly. UIU decides to push through the A bomb site here. I would prefer them just put the bomb down. If you have site control, you should take advantage. The team's giving that to you. Take advantage and put the bomb down. Instead, they decide to push back into this tin area. They bottleneck themselves in this corner of the map, and even when they take advantage on kills, they're stuck in this corner. They cannot go anywhere from here, and LG takes advantage. Methods gets a kill, but now Gunless instantly trades them out with the streaks. And now all there is they're back here in this back portion of the map that's terrible for the offensive team. John and Slack trade out well, and now John and Gunless are in a 1v2. John spots Proto and gets the information that they need. That's extremely crucial, and now they just roam the map together. Let's see how this plays out. Now, I would like to mention, John and Gunless running around together is extremely key. We've seen in the past that people do like to split up a lot in these spots for some reason, and what ends up happening is Proto can isolate a one-on-one gunfight and win just 2 one-on-ones and win the round for his team. Instead, these guys roam the map together, and Gunless finds an easy kill. Well played by LG. UIU could have made different decisions there. And that was your play breakdown brought to you by TCL, America's fastest growing TV brand.
As it stands, Red Reserve 2, LG 0. LG's woes continuing, chance, and now we go over to a game 3, which, again, similar map. We're going to see gridlock. We've seen these two teams play before. Red Reserve bested them last time. I believe it was a 3-1 on that game mode, on that map, and now all of a sudden you're looking at this series thinking, well, Red's definitely got better at control since Vegas. True. Stats of the PLQ, 9-1. They get a big win yesterday as well. His team unbeaten in that game mode, and well, now all of a sudden, I'm a little worried.
Well, at the same time, though, if I'm LG, I'm thinking post-Vegas, the biggest thorn in our side was obviously control. So I'm spending 2 months purely to get better at control to the detriment of our hardpoint, to the detriment of our S&D. This is the game mode that we are going to be good at. Of course, though, off the rip, Red Reserve, Cap A, essentially for free, have a life advantage, and now they have 2 minutes and 19 seconds to Cap B.
It's a lot of time, Chance.
It's plenty of time.
Yeah, good amount.
Honestly, you got enough time to go get a coffee?
Make a trip.
Back, read a book.
Back.
Read a short book, but a book. Dr. Seuss, maybe?
Very, very short, but either way. As it stands, Gunless double. John with 1-0 trades that out, though, as Red Reserve will level the life count, but to the point, a lot of time on the clock. And no one currently working towards streaks, as I believe John was the closest after a double, but he will fall. And for Red Reserve, they're just going to keep being a nuisance, pushing through showers.
And LG playing a little bit safe, though. You got Formal essentially watching Ice Cream / just the cross for the front end of B, which means the rest of his team essentially can just play and watch the flank. So it's 2 Red Reserve players at the bottom. Of course, on the top, they're actually getting kills, and on the bottom, it started getting kills. And well, now LG, their setup means they have to start looking 2 different directions. They are getting pinched in, and it's essentially an allocation of resources. Where do you go? Well, Rated wins his gunfight. Joe wins his. 3 1v1 gunfights, all to the side of Red Reserve. That gives clearance to the hill. Joe is playing 18. That means if LG can't push up the left side, they got to flood in through a post, which Rated is there.
I'll tell you, looking 2 ways at once is pretty hard. That's for sure. Now, Rated close to streaks, 125. Can he get the punch? No, he can't. Trades will come through, though. Zero still an 18-wheeler. It's a 4 life advantage now. A 5 if he's able to find 1 more, which he will instantly trade it out. However, minute 22, 2 ticks into B. 4-kill lead. Joe just isn't slowing down whatsoever. It's a 5-4 start for him. And still, the hill contested. Finally, LG retakes some control.
And they did not quite get that second tick. They were very, very close to it, but not quite completion, so LG is going to be able to drain that out. A 2-life deficit is a perfectly reasonable situation. Now, instead of just having 1 guy up front, they do have 2 pushed up the front. It is going to be a guy Ice Cream. Gunless does fine. 1 gets traded out. And while this is going on, Red Reserve has sent 2 players on the flank, but LG has been sitting here and waiting for it.
And
this seconds, this is the S&D.
Yeah. And this should be a couple of free kills for Formal because he spotted Joe, and there's no way Joe's going to win that gunfight against Formal with an ICR at that range. And that's going to force Zero to back away. He's going to have to reposition himself. The life advantage now just at 1. Zero's going to know Formal's back here. Formal has to watch the flank in this situation, so you can expect that fight to come through. As Red Reserve now trying to fight from the front. 28 seconds, time is ticking. Formal shuts down Joe again. 8-7 the life count. Slight flank 0. Good defensive plays there from LG.
Cleaning house right now. Red Reserve, again, they had plenty of time to work with. They had one fantastic opportunity, but now it is just do or die. You got to flood in the front. Scraps, though, does have a flank open. This is when they make the move. Joe gets dropped. Classic able to pick up one in the engagement. Vance gets traded. Everyone gets traded. Red Reserve done and out. 2 players left alive, and there's simply just not enough time and not much you can do. So first round on board, LG should be sitting pretty. And with Slack getting that kill on Joe, they take care of business, and that is a very solid round for LG to get.
Good defensive plays there, and a great defensive hold. Formal watching the fight for as long as he did was important, and of course the help that Slack was able to provide. A quick peek through post, always there to assist Formal in those fights towards the back, and at that point time is just running so low. Red don't really have a choice. They have to just push from the front.
And I think the opening was what? In between 18 and post, in that little middle section, because they had 18 covered. Rated was inside of post, but I think it was John ends up taking out Rated right before he gets traded. And then you have an extra lane to push back through and gain control. So, again, solid plays all around on offense. LG, it looks like they might be playing it a little bit slow, but now they're making the move, going straight for it. Rated's by himself. He's got to run, and this is huge. If you get B off the rip, you are feeling very good about your chances in the round. And they got 1 tick on board. Might be good for 2, but Red Reserve, this is when they surge back in.
Almost still going to be there. 1 away from streaks, and he's denied. However, 2 ticks into B. Will there be more? Rated in the 18. He's going to be shut down by Classic. Once again, the cap continues, and Red have to concede B. You asked, has LG improved in their control? Well, they're looking a lot better here today.
And that's a huge start as well. Like, despite the fact that I think Rated found 4 around the 18 before he gets dropped, basically tied on lives. Now you got to go to A. We just saw last round how difficult it is to retake B. Now we got 4 on the flank trying to come into A. You got 1 guy that's actually going to be gunless, just sitting on the other side of the map to, I guess, watch the Red Reserve flank. But yeah, he's got to make a move at some point. Formal picks up 2 kills, and now this is the Swarm. If they get control right here, even just for a moment, they're going to win this round without too much difficulty. Zero's in between lines. He gets dropped. All the pressure has to come in the front. You don't even need to watch the flank. They do not have time with this many bodies stacked in hill. Red Reserve have to flood in.
2 ticks. About to be locked in. Classic just trying to land as much damage as he can as Formal picks up a double. Formal picks up a triple. And that is going to be that. And honestly, you want to make sure that you get as many streaks as possible. You'd love to see Classic hop in the hill. I think, did he just get the extra points? I know Slack jumped in there at the end, but some streaks now available for LG. I think 4 in total. Yes, Gridlock isn't the craziest map for streaks, but still, as I always say, explosives from the sky always help.
It's certainly not going to hurt. That is about as dominating of a round as you'll ever really see on Gridlock. I mean, it was essentially perfect, right? Straight off the opening break, you go for B. It comes down to 1 final guy in Classic, but he gets the job done, takes care of business. You get the B point off the rip, and literally just took 1 push to get control A. As simple as that.
Very, very easy. And yeah, 4 streaks at play, and I believe Classic is still working on streaks of his own as well. 35 points is all he is going to need. Tempest is available, should he want it. Gunless finds the first pick. And again, Formal with 3 streaks. Slack also 200 away from streaks. You have everyone from LG close to streaks, and seems like a good time to go to Astro Gaming Listening with LG.
Back left, absolute. Back left, absolute.
Trying to stay alive, middle.
They go B or no?
Look like they were going back towards A.
Alright.
No, B.
Your streaks for B, right? Your streaks for B?
Yeah, I do. I'm gonna pop an Islander here, I think.
Yeah, make sure we're running.
I'm dropping Hellstorm.
Make sure we run stuns.
So I'll be
Make sure we
popping
run
an
stuns.
Islander.
Push up,
Yo, 2 ice cream with 18. 2 ice cream.
Yeah, 2 19.
There's 18.
Two ice cream.
Don't
Two
be
ice
behind
cream.
us.
Goes to the 18.
I got 1 ice
Nice.
cream.
One more ice cream came out.
Goes to the 18 or something.
He's still inside.
I hear that.
Dead, got him.
Front.
Another one.
Another one.
Yeah, I'm dropping back to
They
A.
waste a crash.
Going back, Alex.
Keep
Use
using
one
your
A.
shit.
Use one A.
They all have black on, so you guys know. Make sure you're in these stuns.
Got 1. They're all right. I'm hitting this. I'm hitting this with an Islander.
I'm not even gonna use war.
Oh,
They have a trophy.
He
Plus
punched
1
me.
each, sorry.
I can't be done.
Hold back door, got me.
There's 2 in showers. 2 in.
There's one in B now.
Don't throw away lives, guys. Don't.
Don't throw away lives.
They're done.
Guys are already fire.
Alright, hit this, hit this, guys.
We can
Right
hit
side,
it.
two, right, left, right,
Yo,
left.
I'm dropping a landing. I'm dropping a landing.
No, don't. We're hitting it. We're hitting it.
It's two there, two this side, two
Hit
this
it
side.
right. I'll be right.
Two there.
Trying to help you out.
I got one.
Let's shoot.
Just kill leave. We're up 6. We're up 6. I'm gonna help you guys again. We should talk that.
Here LG calling out, don't give away lives, don't give away lives. Currently up 7. Still streaks at play as Classic finds a double formal with one more. Red down to their final 9. If they don't clutch up somehow in this round, they're getting 3-0'd.
I mean, this is as brutal as it gets. This is just insane, right? It has the Annihilator maybe to potentially make a big play, but you got a lot to deal with. Formal's calling in lightning strikes. Man's 20-7, by the way, and 16-4. Ben, I think LG can do it.
Me too, Chance. Me too. Double comes through. Joe with one. Hold on. Wait a minute. Surely not. No, there it is. The streak does find one. Is Rated doesn't want to give up just yet. A 2v12. I mean, I guess we could get ready for the most ridiculous comeback of all time. A 1v12, never gonna happen. Rated falls. LG take game 3, 3-0. Slacks on his feet. This is the start of a comeback.
And maybe not Control specifically, but that's the LG you expected to see post-Vegas.
Yep.
You get top 4, you're going against a Red Reserve that ended up top 12, and even if they improve, you have 2 months to get better at the game. That's the level of dominance you expect. Formal had a phenomenal game. Even Rated making Annihilator plays like that made 0 difference. Classic gets streaks, Formal gets streaks. I think Slacked even was double positive. That was everything going right for LG.
Yep, looked like the LG, to your point, that you expect to see here at the Pro League. Much more like their top 4 performance. But now, of course, we made the interesting point that when we saw these two teams play, we had the first 3 maps exactly the same. The irony is we kind of flip-flop who wins what. Red 2-1 up now in the series. When you look at the rest, how do you see it going from here then?
Well, I mean, in terms of like information, neither one has really played either of the final 2 maps that much in Pro League. So
okay.
I don't think there's too much you could really expect other than the generic stuff that we've seen in the game modes. Like Red Reserve, they just look more well put together in the hardpoint.
Yep.
And they look more well put together in the search and destroy. So I mean, they got 2 opportunities, and I mean, someone obviously for LG has to step up. Like if Slack plays like he did in Control in the next hardpoint, we got ourselves a ball game. Because you have to imagine either Gunless or Formal at some point is getting fully streaked out in this next hardpoint.
Sure.
It's just a matter of whether or not the other 3 can pick themselves up and kind of match that pace.
Try and keep it somewhat competitive. Of course, this is a quick replay of the closing moments of the Control. LG finish it with a +12 live count. Really a fantastic way of closing out that game 3 Control. 3-0 fashion there. We won't have a 3-0 in this series, of course, as LG extend it to a game 4. Still down 2-1, however. It's maybe rough, and for Red Reserve, this is what we've kind of talked about when they've been in these situations of closing out series. Normally it comes with closing out in a search and destroy. You look at a couple of the losses so far this season, some game 5s here and there. But closing out on a hard point should be much easier for the team.
And I think thinking about it a little bit more, you're going to Seaside as well. And Seaside is the most rotation important map we have in the game. And we saw rotations on just Hacienda from 1 to 2.
Yep.
The most standard rotation you're ever going to see. And Scraps just goes on a free flank, picks up 3. So for Seaside, honestly, I'm a little bit more concerned for LG that if you just make that one mistake from 1 to 2, 2 to 3, whatever it's going to be, all of the rotations are pretty important. You can just give away a full 60 just by just not watching a certain cut, a certain flank at any given moment. And again, Red Reserve, even through some of their woes, they've still been well put together. They've still been a smart team.
Oh, we head to a Seaside hardpoint, and if LG is able to clutch up there, a frequency search and destroy. We thought the series was going to be close, had the potentials in the making of a game 5. Not disappointed too much so far. I mean, a couple of the maps have been very dominant, so I wouldn't mind a close one, especially on Seaside. We love our hardpoint Seasides here at MLG, that's for sure. We've had some close ones so far this year in the CWL. Some very, very close ones. Another one, yeah, why not?
I mean, this is the first Seaside we've casted in quite some time.
I was thinking the same thing. I can't remember the last time we casted with PL. Yeah, we haven't casted at all this week. Yeah.
PLQ. And then I think Seaside Control, I don't know if we've seen a single time. Not just us, but I think on stream. I don't know if in the Pro League we had a single
in the Pro League, no.
Seaside
we
Control.
saw Rec do it at the PLQ, though. That was the last time we saw it.
But I think we're going to have it for the next series. So if you miss Seaside Control, I think Gen G and EG are going to be playing it. So if you just want to think way ahead, if you only care about one map for whatever reason, that's just your thing, hey, we got that for you coming up in an hour or so.
That's how long the series goes, that's for sure. Seaside Hardpoint now underway. Red Reserve first to the party. Found himself a small lead, of course, but John there to find himself a double. I'm keeping my eye on Joe, Chance. I'm going to be honest with you. After such a fantastic game 1 and 2, obviously quiet in a game 3 where you get shut out. Expected. No one really able to produce any moments of brilliance, but here in the game 4, Joe's going to be very important for the Red Reserve squad.
Joe was the fry man, but right now it is, well, the Sogs. Slack has not slowed down from the control at all. He is 4-0, already a quarter away to that handy-dandy gravity slam, and more importantly, going for these spawns. Not only are you going to have 40 points just off the rip, you got a couple players in the back potentially fighting for it, but Classic does fall. John's there for some help. And honestly, this 1v1 between Slack and Rated, pretty important, but actually, you see the perfect thing. Slack waits for his teammate. He's got the help from John. Now he's got more reinforcements in the back, and at the very least, they're blocking the spawns, and that means Red Reserve spawning all the way out.
Slack so cautiously playing around the potential of streaks here. A couple of EKAs and some hill time, and he will have them. And let me tell you, streaks to break Fountain are massive as he goes to the grapple. Actually baits himself out, forces Red Reserve to pay attention to him, allows his teammates to break straight through. Beautifully selfless play. You've seen him do it a couple of times. When he uses that grapple, so smart, but at 120 away, Hardpoint's going to be contested. Is he going to be able to find a couple of kills? There's the lightning. Can he get more? That's the question. Heals, gets out with his life. Slack really turning up in this game.
Very good job so far. Has the teammate to bait for the next kill. Has the Hellstorm. Is 45 away. Does not get the drone squad, but you will take it. I will say LG did give up those back spawns a little bit quick, but hey, all's well that ends well. You're going to have a very small lead going into next. By the way, Formal spawn all the way on the wrong side of the map, so another thing you don't like to see, but if you need it, you got the lighting, you got the Hellstorm in the back pocket. Also, no one watched yellow, and Red Reserve's in the hill.
John is spotted 0. 0 goes for the grapple, and John is there to find the pick as well. Scraps with a team kill onto Rated. John should fall here, or not. Never mind. One more, well, that's a streak from the sky, and that's a double kill, and John evades the cluster nade as well. A great sequence of events here for LG, but now he needs to secure that hill time.
Man, I'll tell you, you get that full lockdown early, and Red Reserve literally just walks into the hill like it's nothing. I think Scraps picked up like 3 or 4 on the way. But hey, you get the Hellstorm, and that's what it's there for. If you make one small mistake, you call that in, pick up 2, you're right back in, and extend the lead to the largest one LG might have had a hardpoint in quite some time. Gonna be up by about 40 points going into wine barrels. Gunless is able to pick up 2 on the way. They're not setting up a pinch quite yet, and they are spawning the opponent out, but it looks like Gunless might get caught. Formal had the help. Thought for a second his spidey senses were tingling. Now you got to worry about Joe, but he's got Formal and Gunless to deal with, and this is honestly good for LG if they can win the gunfights up top.
And obviously, I mentioned keep your eye on Joe. He was 1-5 up until that kill on Formal. Now sits at 2-6 after almost a complete rotation of hills. Red Reserve need a little more in the slaying category in that tank. As of right now, LG breakthrough as well. Gunless causing all sorts of problems on this rotation. Joe does find himself a double. Finally, he will fall. Slack there, though, running straight out. And Slack still with that lightning strike.
And that was done really well by LG. They let their 2-SOG/1 Maddox player come up front. Formal and Gunless win on the long flank. And you see, had to pick up a couple kills to make it happen, but eventually their team was able to break through wine barrels. Then you have everything covered. And then once you get everything covered in this, honestly, Red Reserve responding so far out, it is not too difficult to hold on to. First set of rotations in, LG has a very comfortable lead.
Definitely do. Of course, this was almost similar to game 1. Remember, Red Reserve with that big lead all the way through, and we asked the question, can LG try and mount the comeback? They failed. Chances of doing it is the lightning strike's actually going to be invested here. Helps LG try and break through the front. Slack still with 1, looking for more. Does take control of the hill. Still 40 seconds left as the contest comes through. Slack still there to find a couple more EKAs. Gets out with his life. Has Grav Slam as well. Formal picks up a triple. Scraps a double. Finally, Slack falls. Red Reserve trying to use as much as they can to retake control of this first hill.
Just kills going on all over the place. Red Reserve, it takes a war machine, but they do eventually break through. LG is going to take one more crack at it. It's pretty much just going to be John and Slack, the sub duo, trying to get inside. And so you do have a gravity slam if you choose to invest it. Slack only able to pick up 1. Scrap time the way of Red Reserve. Chipping their way back into this game, but LG do have the lockdown over next and Formal with the Annihilator. There's 1, there's 2. Does miss 1 shot, but honestly, Red Reserve, do you even want to push in the front right now?
Probably not. And this is going to be why. Almost still there. They try and bait and switch. In actual fact, Hummel does miss a couple of kills, but Slack recovers. Grab slam, that's a double. And look how much easier it is when Slack is 15-8 for this LG squad. So much easier. 154 to 92, 40 seconds left. You're going to invest a Tempest here. LG trying to put this game already out of reach.
And I'm a fan of that. I'm a fan of using all the specialists right there. If Formal picked up the earlier 2 kills with the Annihilator, maybe Slack doesn't have to use his, but hey, you burn them all, you try to get good time, and they're investing everything. Gunless back to the War Machine, raining it down, picks up 2. Granted, 1 was on his teammate, but John gets 2 with the SOG. Last player in the hill gets dropped. Now you got Formal and Classic trying to fight for this rotation battle, but it's going to be Formal versus 3. Takes the first one with him. You got to imagine they eventually hunt him down, but he takes the next one with them, and those players spawning across the map. LG, you talk about looking good in hardpoint. Right now, this is as good as it gets.
I don't know what happened after game 2.
They woke up. Ricky gave some just God-tier advice.
Well, about time. Nearly a 100-point lead here for LG. Now, Red Reserve turn to invest the few specialists they do have. Bance with Tempest. There's an Annihilator play for Rated. I mean, obviously, want to, I guess, try and save them for a huge part in the game, but at this point, the chances of you getting it again, not going to happen. So the Crash is invested, 30 seconds left. It sounds kind of bad when we talked about the scoreline going into this hill, but Red Reserve a full 60 here, but somewhat just down 40 points?
Down 40 points, and they got the Tempest, and they got the Gravity Slam, and they got the Annihilator, and Scraps is working on a second War Machine. And we've talked about 100-point comebacks before. And I disagree that all the time it's because of specialists, but there is a very good opportunity for the specialist to be a very big factor in the resurgence.
Bance could get streaks as well, never mind. Curse of the commentator right there. Bance falls now, though. LG control of New. This was a hill which Red Reserve really struggled to get any amount of control on, really, in the first rotation. LG still in there. What do you invest? Bance. Use Tempest.
Bance has a Tempest, Gunless with the team kills. Zero might be able to live through this as well. And if he gets inside, it's going to be destruction. He's inside. There's the destruction. Able to find 2. Bance with the Tempest. Might need to line him up. Hits the hip fire on 1. And now if you're LG, how do you break through? You got to get past. Eventually, John and the Sogs do take him down to move through, and this is big. You burn 2 specialists. If you get control of the hill once again, you're in a great spot. Gunless takes down 1. It's contest all the way around, but a 60-point game. LG holds on. They get the final 15 seconds, and that is just specialist gone. It is up to Rated with the Annihilator, and maybe Scraps a little bit later on with that War Machine. That's a claw away, 70 points.
That's if the game goes that far. Rated forced to invest the Annihilator. As we go into our third rotation of hills, there's 1, there's 2. Formal could be number 3. Still 4 shots left. Could be 4 kills if good use comes through. The man not missing. 2 more shots. Uno más. Por favor. Thank you, Rated. 100 away from a lightning. Could this be the start of the Red Reserve comeback?
The British Dirty Harry does not miss. He is feeling lucky today. 85 points before he gets his next streak in LG. They're pushing forward once again, but keep in mind they do have classic anchoring spawns for next as well. So they have their bases covered. They can afford to make this push, and they are going to get through. However, Rated does get the lightning. Getting close to that drone squad. There's the drone squad. Getting close to that sniper's nest. And he's going to get the sniper's nest as well. Calls it in, wastes 0 time. You got to win the rotation. And keep in mind, John, wrong side of the map he's spawning on. You got to get the kills, though, and that kill feed for the moment's blue. But this is everything getting rained in to try to take LG down. Red Reserve, they got the back spawns. Down by 40 points, working on a miracle.
The streaks all invested. Whether maybe you save 1 in your back pocket to be a nuisance if it goes to Fountain, but 40 seconds left. Red break through. LG spawning out. This is a comfortable moment for Red Reserve to put themselves over the 200-point threshold, but it's going to be the rotation and how many pushes LG want to invest. Because very shortly, they're not even going to be able to end the game on this hill. And that's why you have Classic number 2 on the minimap. He's highlighted, watching the new hill. However, Red Reserve, they're spawning out. 20 seconds left. LG can win here. The contest comes through. Scraps just lights it up with the War Machine. US is going to get another one. There's your answer chance. 13 seconds. And the rotation is won by Red. They're going to be set up to close this game out. And if Scraps does earn these streaks, this is game.
150 away. That player left the hill, which means he knows that they're going through church, and well, it might just be a foot race. A couple players pushing up the top side. He got players coming through yellow and scraps right next to a guy who wins it. Classic does shut him down, but still those back spawns in the hand of Red Reserve. They're gonna spawn up. You can put the pressure forward. This is anyone's game. LG though gotta break through.
Seaside hardpoint. You just love to see it, folks. Slack now at the back. Scraps has to deal with him. He's blocking spawns. 236, 236. A small advantage for Red as they swarm over towards Slack. They find the pick. LG got a break. Still 34 seconds left on the hill. 2 kills, 3 kills. Red. John needs to touch the hill. 2 more seconds. Slack from mid. He will fall. And Red get the comeback on Seaside hardpoint. And finally defeat a North American Pro League team.
Ben, that is a dagger of a game. A heartbreak for LG, but goddamn can Rated shoot that Annihilator.
He didn't miss.
Didn't miss, no wasted ammo. You get the full, not even just the Annihilator, gets 3 more kills with the Maddox to get fully streaked out on top of Scraps with the War Machine and this and that, and what a hell of a Seaside hardpoint.
Crazy game, and Red Reserve can now take a ton of confidence from that result, knowing that they finally got that chip off their shoulder. A little bit of revenge as well from Vegas. However, on the flip side, for LG, we kind of have to talk about a chance, an abysmal week 1.
God, like, their problems too, right? It was Sogs underperforming, inconsistent players. Well, honestly, by the end of that, they cleaned it up, and it just didn't matter.
Yeah, mattered absolutely none whatsoever. I will take a look, though, at the play of the game presented by Scuff. I mean, here's one crazy play, of course, over towards the barrels, but I mean, the big play, the big plays, as this hill starts to rotate across, you see Red Reserve make that decision. All right, well, you've got to use it, Rated. You have to use your Annihilator. Rated says, all right, don't worry, this is how we start our comeback.
And keep in mind, down by 70 points when this is going on. Like, it is not an easy climb at all. LG is only, 27 seconds away from winning. 6 shots, number 1. Number 2, the snap, by the way. Formal says, oh, I'm going to wait. You wait for my teammates to show up. We'll try to set up a bait and switch. We got 3 players to bait and switch 1 Annihilator. That doesn't work. Formal tries to make it happen. That's a tough shot, not for Rated. Slack is like, nope, I'm gone. See you later. They come back for the challenge. Also not an easy shot. It's absurd. And again, he follows that up, getting 3 more kills.
And that's the key. You could keep that play rolling for another 15, 20 seconds because he slides into the hill, finds 1, goes out the hill, slides back in, gets 2, and number 3 for full streaks. The man just had a crazy sequence of events.
And the funny thing is Rated was complaining about it's hard to make an impact with an ICR. He did it with the Annihilator, and then he had the Maddox and made a huge impact play. So credit where credit is due. Like, give him the Maddox, he'd be all right.
Red Reserve doing wonders there. Take the series 3-1 for LG. Their woes continue, but we can send it now down to Jess on the main stage with our PlayStation Instant Reaction.
Thanks, Ben. Earlier, you made it sound like your S&D was maybe a little bit shaky, so what went right for you there?
Just working together, playing as a team. It's literally, that's what S&D is. That's what this whole game is. We literally just came up with some on the spot strats, and it worked.
Earlier today, Gunless told me that he felt that neither of these 2 teams was playing to your full potential. Would you agree with that?
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, when they get top 4 at Vegas, we didn't play very well at Vegas, but we know how we can play. Right now, we're just trying to work together as a team, and it's kind of showing, especially in that Midnight series. We kind of worked on like teamwork, slowing down, and that series right there, I think me and Ben had a combined KD of 1. So it proves that teamwork does work at treating this game, and shout out to my teammates for going off, especially Reese and Matt.
All right, and finally, you didn't want to end this week 1-3, so how are you feeling about your performance as a team for this past week?
I feel like our performance as a team this week has been good. The first 2 games, it was like we played wrecked, and then, I don't know, we all seem to like say we're frying and stuff like that, but we're not working together as a team, so that's not working. And in that Midnight series, we got unlucky, lost 3-2 against a team that hasn't lost on land since the PLQ. And then this series right here, we just proved that teamwork is everything in this game.
All right, well, thank you so much. This has been your PlayStation Instant Reaction. We'll be right back after this quick break.
This has not been a fairy tale opening for Luminosity Gaming, falling 3-1 to Red Reserve to end their first week with no wins. And there's a guy right over here who wants to talk about that.
I just think it's inexcusable. And Luminosity was one of the teams I was most excited for going into this season. To watch them play at a high level. They got top 4 at Vegas. It's like, you got a lot to work on, but I think you can be great. They get a lot of time to work on these things, and it seems like nothing has been fixed. There's so many times. First of all, the Hacienda hardpoint was absolutely inexcusable, unacceptable performance out of LG. The way they're playing the map is absolutely terrible. The only time they even looked good at all was when Gunless was picking up streaks. This was terrible performance. Slack, Classic, and John all have to pick it up. The whole team, the teamwork is off. Throughout the entire series, I was waiting for them to just put something together. And the only time they could do it was in control on the back of Formal, who was just going off in a game mode that can be kill dependent. And he absolutely he was putting him in a hoop mixtape on that map, I'm not gonna lie. He was going off. But in this series, man, I see no improvements other than the control from Luminosity this entire week. They have fixed absolutely nothing.
Their teamwork just isn't there. I mean, they didn't play that last map that poorly. That Game 4 was not played that poorly. I want to say Slack's been taking a lot of flack, but he started out that Game 4 really hot.
Started out great.
He started out with streaks. They look pretty good. There's a play there that I have to mention. Formal was right in front of Slack to get his full streaks, and he kind of baited him, man. Like he should have baited for Slack to get full streaks so he could get his full streaks. I don't know why.
He baited him, and then later in the map, right? So, all right, so Luminosity's up, right? Red Reserve crawls back into the game, sort of on the barrels hill. And then Rated pulls out his Annihilator. Yes, the Annihilator is pretty insane. You can pick up a bunch of kills with it. That's not an excuse to get destroyed like that. He got 2 kills, and then Formal was laying down behind that wall, waiting for his teammates. That's a great play to wait for your teammates. Challenge at the same time. He waits for his teammates, and then he baits them once again. It's like, it feels like some of the players in this team have, they've lost faith in their teammates, and they think they have to kind of do it all. But right there, it was like, Classic slid out and challenged, and then 1 second later Formal went, and then 1 second later Slack gets killed at the end, which ultimately leads to Rated picking up streaks. And right there, you got to challenge all at once if you want to kill an Annihilator, or he's going to do what he just did, and you lose the game. So
it's so
ton
weird.
To work on.
This team that we just saw in Control, how dominant that Control was out of LG, that's like the team that we expect to see.
Yeah.
They could be that team.
They could.
They've got to unleash it. They've got to unleash it.
If they don't fix some of these issues soon, and because they have a lot. You see them switching around their specialists today. Like, if they don't fix some of these issues soon, come this March 1st deadline or roster swap, whenever it begins, they need to really start to explore this, man, because some of these issues just don't seem like they're getting fixed. And you got to think that the players on this team are extremely frustrated with their performance and are probably thinking the same.
Study, in your opinion, is this what we're witnessing from Luminosity, just the complete breakdown of communication, of trust, of something?
It's the breakdown of, honestly, everything.
Right here, look at this.
There's absolutely nothing that's going right for these guys.
Look at this
one
page.
by one.
All right, look, he lays
Here he
down.
is.
This made me so mad. Like, right here, you got to all challenge at once, simultaneously.
I'm going to throw a stun here.
Like, look at that. It was a complete second later. Go. At least go first. Like, this is unacceptable to me, man.
Rated went 6 for 6, though. Got to give him props on that.
And he gets the Maddox like he was talking about.
He went on like a 15 kill spree.
Yeah, he told me to shut up. He's like, I'm going to beat them.
He's like, wait, hold up. I've never beat an American team before.
His teammates did
Hold up. He got
his
this.
teammates did a really good job on this video of playing for him here. Like, really. Joe's going to be out here on the outskirt, baiting for him. And then Zero comes down the steps and helps Rated get full streaks. This is a really good display of teamwork out of Red Reserve to make this comeback. I feel like when people need to do something to make a comeback, they start playing the correct way. It's always been that way.
And one player always has to kick up, kind of like how Rated did.
Yeah.
And then somebody, towards the end of the series, he lost a little bit of steam, but Joe in the beginning of this series was the man.
That 1v1 versus John.
Search and destroy. That 1v1 was crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah, John decided to challenge him. I think it was at the B bomb site on Hacienda. Tries to rush over towards the lower archway, gets him injured, and Joe was just throwing those shoulders, playing his life. And then that just comes down to just one-on-one skill right there. Joe just decides to punch shoot him, and it works out perfectly. They get the round, but Joe had a crazy performance on the first couple maps of the series.
Yeah, and that's so important to point out because we've talked about Rated and some other folks, but Joe did very well, and he deserves those props.
Even though you're looking at his stats, he had a .8. Doesn't matter. The player that Joe is, he's always going to be the first one slotted in.
Right.
Always going to be playing smart, just baiting for his teammates. And that game mode, they won both hard points. It was flawless. Him and Trey were basically working together really, really well. Rated was doing his thing. Scraps was going off. And
teamwork.
It was just great teamwork all around.
Are we seeing then, Pack, Red kind of finding their form every single day, a little better, a little better, a little better?
Red has not had that bad a week. Like Trey said in his interview, they played Midnight really close. Like that series could have gone either way. They beat Reciprocity right here. They just looked really good. Like even though they had to make a comeback, they never seemed out of it. And that's what a good team does. That's what Midnight's been doing. That's what Optic does. Just because you're down does not mean you're out. They had thick skin. They bounced back.
That is very true. We do have one more